Today's video is going to be me replacing the junk kayak seat that comes with the Lifetime Tioga kayaks. I'm going to reuse a stadium seat from Walmart. It's just the Ozark Trail stadium seat. It's about 20 bucks where I live at. I think it'll be a big upgrade. The reason I'm choosing to do this now is this weekend I'm going to be fishing the Mackinac River here in Illinois. And it's going to be about a 4-hour fishing trip, and I really don't want my butt sore and my back killing me by the time we get done. So hopefully this will be a big upgrade and it will help out. Stick around and watch the video all the way to the end, and hopefully this is something that will go easy. And if you like the content, feel free to subscribe and leave a comment down below. So after messing around with the clips for quite a while and trying to reuse this stupid strap, finally decided against that, and I took it out of the strap, and it sits a lot flatter, and looks like it's going to be a better fit this way. So I'm going to do it this way instead. So I'm going to go get the little cleats that I have. They have a name that I can't think of right this second, but and I'm going to have to make some holes and mount them in so that the seat is secure. And so we'll be right back. They're pad eyes. Don't know why I couldn't think of what they were called. Pad eyes. I'm going to put 2 on each side here and here. And I think I might do 2 behind it as well to keep everything nice and secure. And 1 over here. And 1 over here. And I'm going to use some silicone sealant to seal any holes that I put in here, and hopefully we still float when it's done. I'm going to take a Sharpie and mark all my holes so I know where to drill at. And by the way, I've watched videos on this, but I really have no idea what I'm doing. So, although the hopefully will float comment was kind of a joke, it's a little bit on the serious note too, because I really don't know what I'm doing. So, we'll see what happens. I'm going to drill little pilot holes. And like I said, use silicone on the screws to hopefully seal up the holes. So, and if it doesn't, well, it'll be a short video on Sunday when I go fishing, because I won't make it very far. I'm using a very small drill bit to drill pilot holes, and then letting the screws do most of the work. So here we go. After I drilled the first one, I thought it might be a good idea to only drill 1 hole and then put 1 screw in and then do the second one just in case they moved as I was marking them. So I'm going to go find a bit for the screwdriver part and we'll go from there. So my wife says I jump from hobby to hobby, and this is my newest one. And she's not really wrong. So YouTube kind of gets me thinking about things, and the next thing I know, I'm doing something completely out of the ordinary. So I think my next thing I'm going to try is making my own lures. I'll start off with just painting lures more than actually making any. So then I'm look for that to be coming eventually. I'm going to buy an airbrush kit and buy some blanks and kind of go from there and see how much damage I can do. Because, again, it's a thing that, besides seeing it on YouTube, I know absolutely nothing about. I've never done any type of airbrushing or working with any kind of lures in their blank form. I have no idea what colors to paint. So we'll see how it goes. It'll be coming, but it's going to be probably fall time. And we'll see how it goes. This is some older silicone, so it's not exactly 100% liquid like it's supposed to be, which might actually be better, because sticks a little bit better, I feel like. On to the next one. All right, so I'm going to get this done and drill the second pilot holes and put the screws in. You kind of get the idea if you can see it. Right here's one. And then we'll go from there. The second one's going to be right here. So I'll be right back to you as soon as I get done mounting all these, and we'll see how we're going to fit the seat on here. All right, so I just noticed my microphone was off, so hopefully the last bit of recording I did, the microphone was on at the time. So, you know what's awesome is when you go to find something that you know where everything's at and you dig where it's at. In this case, it was zip ties, and found a couple dollars. Haha. So I'm going to mount the seat just like this. And I'm using the pole holders that are on the back of the kayak to kind of let me know where everything is centered on the back. So should be fairly straight. Hopefully it's straight enough to be useful. And these zip ties are just a hair too short, I think. No, maybe not. Maybe they'll be just perfect. I will double them up on the back here because we're further away. And I'll cut off the extra that I don't need. And as I said, I'm going to use paracord also because I'm not going to trust my fat butt not breaking these zip ties. And then it's useless. And I end up in the water, which we don't want. So like I said, assuming this works well, I'm going to fish the Mackinac for the first time here in Illinois, the Mackinac River. A lot of my friends use it to float, but not fish. And my son, the one that you see in the videos with me, his buddy floats it all the time, but he doesn't fish. So I told him to ask his buddy to go with us on Sunday because not knowing exactly what I'm doing, I really don't want to go out there and end up either lost or something bad happen. So he's going to go and float with us and not fish, just do what else you do on a float trip, which should be interesting because we're going to go early in the morning. So we'll see what kind of shape he's in by early afternoon or late morning-ish. A little bit off here. I might have to come up with a different idea to mount this. Be right back. All right, I had to make a minor adjustment because the way I had everything, I was crooked. And like I said earlier, I don't want that. Ooh, that's pretty sturdy. But again, I don't want to rely on just zip ties. So I've got a whole bunch of paracord that I'm going to use to kind of tie everything on as well. And then that'll be even better than the zip ties. So let me go find a lighter so I can burn these ends as I cut them. And I will be getting this done. So it'll be just a split second for you, but it might take me a couple minutes to find a lighter. So I will be right back in just a second. All right, I'm back with a lighter and a drink. So the first thing I'm going to do, because this was cut a long time ago, I think I'm going to make a new cut further in here and burn the end of it so that I know it's good, because I don't know how long this has been cut and frayed off or if it's all even there. So paracord is really strong, and I guarantee that this won't break with my fat self sitting on this seat. So we'll burn this down so it doesn't fray off anymore. And then I'll cut a little bit of it. I mean, I've got plenty to use, so By the way, doing this, it gets very hot, and you will burn your fingers if you touch it too soon. So just a heads up if you've never messed with this before. When I was doing some of my tie downs on my kayak before, I made the mistake of touching it too soon, and it stuck to my finger, which is not fun. And this razor blade is not apparently sharp, so that's what I wanted to not do. So I'll take this, tie it in through the first pad eye and around the seat. And I'm not doing any kind of special knot, just a regular old knot here, just to hold me in place. But it does have to be tight. All right. If it was a strap, I'd slap it and say, that's not going anywhere. I am going to get a pair of scissors to cut this with, because apparently this box cutter is old and not in very good shape. So I will be right back. All right. Don't tell my wife I took her scissors. A lot of times when her scissors make it out in the garage, they don't tend to come back, or if they do, they're not in very good shape. So don't let her know I've got these, because she's at work. So she doesn't know what I'm doing. And that cuts so much better. Again, I've got so much of this, I'm cutting my ends way too long, but I want to make sure I've got enough to make a nice good tie and hold this in place, and I'll cut off the excess when I'm done. I'd rather have too much than have not enough and have to redo it all over again anyway. It's not tight enough. Let's redo that one. On to the next one. One of the guys that I follow, he did this, but he used a beach chair, a little low-sitting beach chair on his kayak. It turned out really nice. And he said it didn't make any problems with stabilization. So I'm hoping that's the case. Can't remember his name right off the top of my head now, but I will find that video and I'll link it down in the description. Not that I have a whole lot of followers, but I want to give credit where it's deserved. So, and I'll try to put a text in the video here, probably down towards the bottom here, of what his channel name is, just because, again, I kind of got this idea from him a little bit, so I think he mounted his a little different than I am, but to each their own. This is literally a big tangled mess of paracord. One of my kids, when they were younger, made paracord bracelets, and we bought them a kit, and that's actually where this is from. So the paracord that I used on the rest of the kayak is just cheap stuff from Harbor Freight, but it did what I needed it to do. So it worked. If you ever need paracord, definitely check out Harbor Freight because they got big amounts of it for cheap. Just like everything else they have, it's cheap. So 2 more, and then I'll cut off the excess and burn it down. So I'll get these last 2 done, cut it, and then I'll show you, I'll burn them down to keep the ends from fraying, and then we'll be right back and see the finished product. All right, that looks to be about it right there. We'll see how it holds up this weekend when I go fishing. We'll see what happens. It looks pretty sturdy, so hopefully it'll hold me up and I won't sink. But like I said in one of my previous videos, you know, a lot of times kayak fishing is made out to be an expensive deal, but it can be cheap. You don't have to spend $2,000 on a kayak and $400 on a fishing poles. In fact, I went to Ollie's and got some $1.99 bait that I'm going to be using, some soft bait. So, I mean, if you look for the deals, they're there. You can save money. You know, you don't, especially if you're starting out. Like, I understand people that have been doing it for years, entering tournaments. I understand spending thousands of dollars on stuff. You know, you're trying to win thousands of dollars, but just starting out, you don't have to do that. Get what you can get to get out in the water and have a good time and be safe. So stay tuned for next week for a video hopefully from us catching some fish, because the last few times I've been out, I haven't had much luck. The times that I've caught fish, I didn't even have a camera with me. So hopefully this weekend will be different. We can get out and do about a 3-hour float down the Mackinac and catch some smallmouth, hopefully some largemouth bass, and see what else we can get into. See you then.